Okay, hi. So today the indicator that I'll be talking about is infant mortality. Infant mortality is a social aspect of how you determine an HDI of a country or how developed it is as a country as a whole. So in the beginning, we're going to be discussing patterns. As you can see, according to this map, you can see that the US region does not have a height, which means that the infant mortality rates are low. The lower the infant mortality rate, the more developed the country is, because it means that they have more health, more education, and things like that. The region which comes to mind as you look at the map with the most intense or highest infant mortality is the African region, but especially the Sub Saharan regions, and especially this country, Angola, with having the highest infant mortality, which means the death of children by 1,000 live births, and Angola has a rate of 182. Before I go into anything like that, it's hard to establish accurate figures for infant mortality because a lot of early deaths go unreported, and a lot of the statistics are estimations. They either go unreported or they get reported in a wrong manner, and that's the problem. But the estimations are are accurate enough for us to find trends and patterns. So let's look at the African region. One of the many reasons that infant mortality occurs is diseases. Countries such as the Sub-Saharan regions suffer a lot from malaria due to lack of vaccination and lack of healthcare. These children don't get the healthcare that they require. They don't get the malaria vaccinations, and it kills one child every minute in the Sub-Saharan region. It's prevented by nets, and it's provided by it is prevented, I apologize, by nets, and determined by the deaths per year from malaria. There are other diseases in the sub-Saharan region, which is such as measles. Approximately 380 people die from measles-related complications each day. And again, all countries do suffer from the disease measles, but the African region, especially, have issues with healthcare and hospitals and things like that. Therefore, the children don't get access, as this region is full of low developed countries. As you can see, the Arabian countries on the top, which are more developed than the others, and countries such as South Africa, do not suffer from the same problem of infant mortality. Now let's look at the Asian region, especially the West Asian. Over here you have average infant mortalities, but as you can see, Afghanistan is number 3 in the index in 2008 with 154 deaths per thousand. Now the reason behind that could be, well, the main reason behind it is the ongoing war. The bombings, the war, the non-state terroristic attacks do correspond and increase the rate by very large factors. And also, not only does it affect directly the children, but they can cause preterm birth complications to the mother. It rises it's rising in most countries, and it's the second cause of death for children under the age of 5. Basically, low birth babies are more likely are more likely to survive if they're kept warm by skin-to-skin contact with the mother. And if the mothers have died due to wars and ongoing things like that, due to health diseases and something like that, and they cannot afford the healthcare or do not have the hospitals who provide systems such as that, may increase the rate of infant mortality. Now let's look at one of the lowest infant mortality regions is Europe, but then the lowest would be Singapore. No, let me let me find Singapore. Well, let's just look at Europe for Europe or the US right now. Europe, France is at 194, having 3.36 deaths per thousand, which means that they have social buildings such as hospitals to take care of children who are facing problems such as pneumonia. Pneumonia is the prime cause of death in children under 5. It includes malnutrition and indoor air pollution, which malnutrition is another thing that people in the sub-Saharan region suffer from. Fun fact, not so fun, but just an interesting fact. Children in the sub-Saharan Africa are about 16.5 times more likely to pass away before the age of the age of 5 than children in developed regions such as Europe and things like that. As a general statement, the global under 5 mortality rate has dropped by a lot since 1990s, being at 87 deaths per thousand. This is the global average. Then in 2011, it has reached 51. This means all countries are developing slowly, and they're increasing the healthcare and other factors which link to infant mortality. And the Millennium Development Goal number 4 is target of a 2/3 reduction by 2015, which they're slowly achieving. But factors such as the momentum of development is preventing them. And in general, you can see that Europe and North America have the lowest amount of infant mortality rates, and the sub-Saharan region especially, and the African region, Central Africa, West and East Africa, suffer from a high percentages or high numbers of infant mortality, which means that they are not developed. It's indirectly proportional to each other. As infant mortality increases, the position in the HDI, the development decreases. And over here in West Asia, you can see that there's an anomaly with Afghanistan being related to non-state actors and wars and ongoing things like that. And just as a mini conclusion, Southeast Asia have quite average infant mortalities with, let's say, for example, Indonesia with 31.04 per thousand deaths, but with an exception of Singapore, which is a very developed country, who stands at number 1 at 2.3.